lot of moves around the map looking for picks. PBGOT's always there when Weiwei wants to invade enemy buffs, so definitely a critical part of this team.
Well, Lyric, welcome to Pick Ban, a series people have been waiting for to see how V5 go up against a potential playoff team. eStar needs some wins on the board, though, to still hold that back true going into the rest of summer. And let's go into the pick bans because the set ban is directly targeted towards Fun.
Yeah, and the thing that jumps up to me, obviously, is that the Aphelios is still left open. That champion is still, first pick worthy on this patch. So Aphelios, Ezreal, the matchup that we've grown accustomed to.
Yep.
Still both champions left open.
It's interesting. Wink has also played a lot of Ashe recently, so we'll see if he goes that direction.
I also want to see who will be able to pick up the Graves, because we've highlighted that both of these jugglers love getting their hands on it, especially with Weiwei's Nidalee off the table. You would expect V5 to be willing to pick that up first rotation.
Option now available. Other 80 carry there as well. Sam D, actually 100% win rate on the Ashe so far. Played it in Game 1 against FPX, if I'm not mistaken. Also, we saw it in their previous series. So double 80 carry, the potential to be picked up here. As the Graves you mentioned, will get locked in first.
Yeah, and glad to see it. We want to see Weiwei be a carry of this team, and they have a couple options where they can go with this next pick. They've actually been one of our teams that do just first pick Renekton on red side, so that wouldn't be too surprising. But you already highlighted the Ashe. I love to see this. It gives you proactive options that you can make throughout the game, even when there aren't neutral objectives up like Dragon.
29 KDA on it as well. Just throw some simple stats towards your general direction. You got the Lee Sin, though, insta-locked for Wei, another champion that has the carry potential. This Nunu hovering is throwing a mixed message out.
And typically, I'd expect him to pick FunFun's champion here because, the Galio is something they just love to go towards. We've seen them picking up a lot recently. Okay, so they do just lock it in, and we're already setting up for this composition that has some playmaking potential once we hit 6, but they're already building it to be all around Wink, which is the way eStar have played all year long.
Yeah, absolutely. When he was the core member alongside Crying, he's doing well.
We just keep having... I don't know if there's like some inside joke here, but...
I'm like, if it was Junja, they were going up against, I'd say, I get it, all right. The one Nunu player in the league.
And I like this here. They just picked mid, so just follow it up with mid. You're not going to show anything yourself. You still leave potential to counterpick elsewhere, especially... Counter-picking support all year long has just been extremely strong. You can take a priority top laner on 4, something like a Wukong or Renekton, anything like this, which we've seen Bubu be very good on.
Very true. Also, someone like Xiaobai. I want to go forward because we're seeing targeted bans towards Xiaoxi here. Xiaoxi in the past couple of series has actually picked up the Shen support, the only one playing it in the league, and has paired it with the Galio before, so something to keep your eyes out for.
But... So they did pick up a win with the Shen support when they played against Vici, but it wasn't with the Galio. And I feel like you would be just stacking like too much supportive elements and not enough damage. When they ran it last time, they did have the Echo in the jungle, so we're playing for Wei to be more of a carry. The thing I'd love for eStar is if they can just get some engage in the top lane, because we have a lot of these defensive Galio picks, and it feels like they don't ever work out. So whether they can get Xiaobai on a Wukong, which is his most played champion, but, Victory 5 know that as well, so they take it away. I don't know if you're going to find a great way to get FunFun onto the immobile carries of Mole and Sam D.
I will just say that the Ornn that's been high priority ban or picked through a lot of other teams has made it all the way through the second pick phase.
If you're Victory 5, you just take it here. It's also Bubu's second most played champion. His most played is obviously the Renekton, but Renekton's banned out. Wukong is banned out. You take the Ornn here. It really leaves Xiaobai with two options of either the Volibear or the Mordekaiser. Xiaobai's only played 4 champions.
And Volibear's already banned away.
Yeah.
So you tunnel him into a direction, the Ornn taken away, they flex around with the Mordekaiser, say do it. Happy to take the matchup.
Yeah, now I would expect Xiaobai to go towards the Mordekaiser, or he'd have to pull out something new. Of course, we do still have the Kale open. Yeah. We've seen people go towards the Scion, which they've hovered. Maokai as well, if they want to stick to the typical eStar style of, hey, we're going to keep Xiaobai on some kind of like weak side tank top laner.
But then we'd start facilitating a weak side Galio, right? Where you talked about the defensive style of composition. At least the Mordekaiser here, and if the Nautilus pairs with it, gives FunFun some options.
Yeah, now I want to see where Xiaoxi goes. I actually don't think there's really any great options. The Bard here would be good because...
Denial, right?
And also, you don't necessarily need any set engage of your own if you could, land a good Tempered Fate. FunFun then walks up, gets like a 3 or 4 man taunt, and you can set up this Aphelios to do a ton of damage.
But instead, into the Nautilus, the basic matchup we know where PPGOT has played a bit of Leona. Just coming back on this is his 3rd most played champion, 3 games of Leona. But recently against FPX, saw some failures. We're getting caught out of position. Inconsistent solar flares as well. We need to see a better performance if he locks this one in.
I like it. I mean, just get more tankiness and more of a front line. You already have 3 really good carries coming out in the Zoe, Graves, and Ashe, so you have a lot of pick potential, but you also have a really strong 5v5 team fight, and we've already set up that eStar's comp is more defensive in nature. You do have some windows early on with the fact that you did pick up the Lee Sin, but definitely going to be a lot more based around Wink in the late game.
Okay, so we're talking about late game, we're talking about scaling a little bit here. Is it cut and dry for eStars and V5? Do you see a clear-cut condition where we get the 40 minutes and one team wins?
No, I don't think it's that cut and dry. I do like Victory 5's comp more because it has a lot more tools, right? We have a lot more CC coming out on their side. We have a very set front line. We have long-range engage as well coming out from both the Ornn and the Ashe, as well as the Zoe. So realistically, if Mole can play well, even getting Fun into the enemy team is going to be hard. And if they are going to play this style where they're just trying to dissuade V5 from coming in, well, Mole can just dish out all those paddle stars for free.
Very true, and you used the word, just coming back to your point before, of pick potential at least with the Zoe, with the Ashe. Leona facilitates that. Elongated mid lane with Zoe, we've seen how dangerous that is, and with Ornn on the flank, with Ornn was set up called the Forge God, it feels like V5 here, a simple to execute comp that they've run before.
And to me, this is one of these, this is like the closest to, let's say like Exodia comp you can get in the LPL, where I imagine an Ornn in top lane, Graves in the jungle, Syndra or Zoe mid, and then Aphelios, Ashe, any of these 80 carries. It's simple to execute, strong team fight, you have a lot of options, it does well at all points in the game, so I like that. For eStar, the one way you will have to try to play around this is, of course, you do have a global in the mid lane, right? Yeah. So you can try to impact your side lanes to where Mole won't be able to follow up.
Fun's been pretty crucial. He's been playing decently enough, but eStar have fallen down since losing Cryan at the start of summer. Cryan went over to RNG, as you know, and eStar have been trying to recover ever since. 2-5 versus 5-2 on Victory 5. And this, for them, needs to be a bit of a warm-up towards top eSports. But are eStar strong enough to get in their way? We'll find out as we go into this game. Welcome to Summoner's Rift, and welcome to Lethal Tempo on Wink. That is a first, I believe, at least in the LPL.
Yeah, it's not something I've seen. And I mean, again, there's so much LPL, it's pretty much the only region we get to watch other than the hour before broadcast when LCK is on.
We about to go to sleep. We put on the LEC as well and see one game, but even then, that doesn't retain well.
And I'm not quite sure how it's going to stack up DPS-wise as compared to, running the Conqueror.
Yeah.
But we're going to see here, how it goes. And especially for this early game, where we want to keep our eye on for eStar is all about the mid-jungle for me. Maybe not necessarily way getting into the mid lane. I think you do have that option since Fun has the taunt, try to blow that flash early. But especially at that level 6 mark, mid-jungle roaming the sides, where for V5, it's a lot more about jungle and bot lane, because at that level 6 mark, right, the Enchanted Crystal arrow comes up, and that's just a very easy play you can look for, and then use that bot pressure to head mid.
It feels like Wei just needs to track Wei, right? And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to apologize first. Before we get into the series, Wei versus Wei is both a blessing and a nightmare in the same sense. As we watch Mole bully out Fun early here. We've seen a lot of Zoe into Galio, and we know what Zoe Paddlestar does with a bit of range.
This is how most Galio matchups go, right? When you're facing either mid or long range mage, you just try and whittle him down. He wants more of a non-interactive laning phase early on. Shall see.
Okay, Zenith's Blade. Sam D going to get lethal tempo, but so is Wink.
Yeah, and Shasty obviously missing his hook to start that off, so V5 coming out on the better end of the trade, and both of these bot lanes are aggressive and look for 2v2 kills. We've seen V5 be a bit more successful in that aspect, but we've seen a lot of times where eStar, it just comes down to 1 or 2 mechanical misplays and everything falls apart.
Which is a bit surprising considering, at least for mechanics in Spring, it was relatively clean. But as you've said before, a lot of teams figured out eStar and how they play, and it feels like their backs have been put into the corner coming into this split.
And I love this because, well, I don't love that they're struggling, they've been figured out, but I love that you bring this up for the fact that it seems like a lot of people are just saying eStar have fallen off only because Cryan's gone. But remember, they came into that series against WE in playoffs as heavy favorites. Heavy favorites. WE got into playoffs by like a knife's edge.
And they're another team that were very predictable with draft, mind you.
Exactly, and the fact that WE took them down so easily just shows how, at the end of the split, this team did pick up more losses. This team did have a very cut-and-dry play style. They had certain champions that really enabled them to do what they did, and once teams figure that out, they looked more like a middle-of-the-pack team rather than a top team.
I just hope we don't have a Sign Dragon now dominant situation. After their split of making playoffs, their very debut after being LDL champions, they dropped to the bottom, but I want to draw your attention back to the game quickly, Lyric, because we're seeing Wei spotted out towards his top side. Wei controlling Scuttle and has the option to go towards bottom side. So a small lead built up here for Wei as he continues to clear his camps. You talked about tracking mid-jungle, or at least mid-jungle for the side of eStar. Jungle bottom lane here for the side of V5. Wei will be pathing down there shortly. Sam D is getting closer towards 6, but we've got a wild play.
Yeah, this is what we expect from Wei, right? I mean, of course it is much easier when you have priority in all 3 of your lanes, so is able to just poke his head and find out where Wei is, but Wei is a lot more about controlling the enemy jungler, stealing their camps, making these plays for Dragon and Rift Herald. Like, Wei doesn't Wei, I'm sorry, this is hard.
I told you
Wei
it's be
doesn't
so hard.
make plays without a purpose.
Yes.
It's not just about the kill for him.
Thank God we don't have blind draft and we had the same champion. It would
No, I would love that, actually.
it'd probably complicate things, for sure.
I mean, and it would be Graves for sure. Both of these junglers, it's the most played this split, so both of them loving that champion. I would have loved to see like Echo versus Nidalee or something with more character, but of course, eStar preventing us from seeing that by banning the Nidalee.
I mean, at least we get Lee Sin versus Graves. Imagine if we're in like the Sejuani, maybe Zac meta. Bottom lane, the engage going to be started off here. eStar with a nice dredge line. Sam D forced the flash. Graviton's there as well. Wait on his way in with the Sonic Wave. Forced the flash out of PP God. And that Summoner's gone for bot, bar the Ignite and heal. V5 getting pushed against as well.
Yeah, and that was all set up by Xiaoxi, right? Had he not been able to hit that dredge line, that play wouldn't have been able to come through, so great from him to see the opportunity.
As usual.
Now we just see Wei kind of hovering over, but of course eStar do have vision, so Wei not going to be able to make anything happen at this point. And we've already set up that V5 are really waiting for that level 6 mark before they look for a straight-up bot lane game.
Talk about it. The pick potential quite a lot so far in pick ban. Also like that Wei was down there just to shadow after.
Biubiu is destroying Xiaobai, which let's remember both of these top laners were not very good at Spring. Both of them were struggling, especially in lane. I'm not going to bring up the Biubiu Janna. I bring up the Biubiu Janna way too much.
You did it on the podcast.
Yes, I did, but he's been looking a lot better. And no hysterics. This matchup, early on, sure, like in most Ornn matchups, right? Especially to that level 3 mark, you win against most things, but coming out ahead with pretty much a 2-wave lead, it's not what we should be seeing. And Biubiu doesn't have to blow TP, so now Victory 5 have a TP advantage for if they want to make a play on the bot side at that level 6 mark, you know, for Sam D and PP God.
And they have a testing ward vision down the bottom side towards Dragon as well. And remember that alongside Sam D, you can control a lot more vision in the map. We've talked about Hawkshot quite a lot and the gold value it adds, just purely being able to track what camps are gone, where the enemy jungler is, and how you can set up for plays consistently through this early game.
Yeah, now we're at the point where Fun does have his ultimate, so I want to see if eStar try to set up could just be a gank, but essentially a dive on bot lane.
Yeah.
Obviously, Xiaobai is going to be fine in the top half of the map since he does have the Death Realm, but we've already pointed out that Biubiu has TP.
And he's just going to walk down. I mean, this is great timing. He's pushed out the wave. Xiaoxi now spotted out as PP God. A level above the enemy support is making the roam. But remember, V5 burnt their flashes in the previous fight. We'll see if that means anything as Biubiu called the forward goal. We talked about him influencing the map, but this is so early. Funfun gets knocked up. The Zenith Blade so well coordinated with an early first blood to Mole.
And that was especially beautiful coming out from Biubiu. This is just a very standard play that I'd love to see from an Ornn player, right? Walk, hover mid, you always have that call of the Forge God available.
Misses nothing top.
Exactly, and even had you only gotten a flash for that, it's still a big win on the side of Victory 5, getting a kill, losing nothing.
And we're just setting up Dragon. Now Funfun has teleport. eStar are here first, but V5 didn't reset. They're in position with the level 6 Graves, with PP God around the side as well, but it starts.
I wouldn't expect for Victory 5 to contest.
Okay.
Sure, Biubiu has TP, but you don't have Call of the Forge God, which is such a massive tool to you. Your bot lane still hasn't hit the level 6 point. Looks like Sam D actually just did, so even had you gone, you really don't have any tools to lock anyone down.
Okay, so given over, turns into an ocean. We've got an Infernal or a Mountain Rift. Both actually exceptionally good here in this game. As Wei's down the bottom side once again. The Moonlight Vigil lands with double Gravitum, Sonic Wave now setting up onto Sam D, but it's not the PP God who absorbs a lot of the damage. Away could have had that, is it? Yeah, PP God's going to get on out. Calibrum does the dirty work. Up to the turret they go. Wei now shows himself.
Fun still has ultimate, so...
Catacross Solara actually used underneath the turret. Xiaoxi only just gets out, but that clears the wave as Mole narrowly misses with the trouble bubble.
Yeah, this is not how we were expecting this to go. We were pointing out that, hey, V5 are going to be the ones to look for these early pressure plays at the level 6 marker on bot, but eStar always just a bit faster to pull the trigger. That was a really nice ultimate coming out from Wink just to try and lock the members of Victory 5 down. It was extremely close, and good to see them using the global pressure that we talked about, right? FunFun constantly hovering just in case Victory 5 try to match the play. FunFun will always be there before Mole.
Sometimes not pulling the ultimate is as strong as pulling it. And more importantly, Wink picking up turret plating in that last play almost towards the Infinity Edge. PP God now on a bit of a roamer's mission, looking for mid again.
Yeah, but we do see, moving over to the side of eStar, that both Wink and Xiaoxi are heading up, so obviously eStar looking for the Rift Herald. Sam D nowhere close.
Yeah, and he doesn't have the arrow.
And the worst part is since both of your bot lane isn't down, like making that play for plates is going to be quite hard. But V5 are still posturing.
And Xiaoxi's going to flash in before he gets trouble bubbled up. The Ignite's down, they turn onto the support, end of the line with the Ignite. Might tick on over while PP God absorbs the damage, but Weiwei in a great position. While the turret's going to do its work once again. Mole over the wall. Nice portal jump. Somehow V5 outclassed that. Trouble bubble to zone. We're not over yet, Lyric. Pause. Calibrum and Severum available. Back to the Rift Herald for eStar. Weiwei still hovering by.
Yeah, and the fact that they won out in what was a 3v4, obviously both top laners were still on top side. Weiwei's actually looking for it, though, and BuBu's TPing in.
He is at 2K. Trouble bubble hits the Herald. BuBu going to find his mark. Way back towards it. It is secured. That's now turning on the Xiao Bai. V5 get into the pit. Weiwei out very, very low. And now, how do you get through Wink? As he's going to run out of Calibrum shortly. Xiaoxi has respawned to die. And we're getting messy here, but V5 don't mind a bit of mess. Xiao Bai very, very low. He wants the death scratch, but Mole just does it again. And I have to say, eStar, do you have direction? Is your GPS on?
And obviously, Hysterics, that play was not worth it all. Sure, eStar ended up with the Rift Herald. You just picked up so many kills on the side of V5, and look at the CS in the bot lane now. Sam D has been here the whole time. Wink has missed out on so much CS, experience.
It's
Sam D now getting a ton of plates. Yeah, out of nowhere, out of one fight.
This Zoe is about to hit the same mark that we talk about with Aphelios every single game.
Maul 5-0-1. And he played that fight beautifully, which this was the champion we knew him for in spring, and even last year was his best champion. Let's see what happens. So we started out with PP God getting on top of Xiaoxi. They just were able to throw a ton of burst down before the other members were able to follow up. They keep going. Mole playing very nice on like a knife's edge. Hits a very easy paddle star as well. And here's where we're going to start to see them back off, but Weiwei knowing they can still posture, BuBu having the TP available. And I actually can't, so Call of the Forge God's not up, but still having the confidence just keep going in. Nice paddle star by Mole, so now even Xiao Bai's low. And Weiwei surviving just by the skin of his teeth. They keep it going, and you said, okay, how do they get past Wink here? Well, PP God's full health, he's super tanky, and he can just stand in front of all the other members.
That was a one-by-one the Ants go marching in. I love how Xiao Bai just walks towards the Zoe. That was not the play.
Yeah, Mole was left. No one was zoning him off like at any point in time. He was just given free range to deal as much damage as he wanted. And yeah, one by one was a good way to describe that fight.
So Wei does pick up the Rift Herald. That's the only saving grace for eStar, if you want to call it that. They're still down 4,000 gold. And Sam D, you mentioned the CS lead he had before the replay. He's getting attention bot while BuBu absorbs top. Call the Forge God is available, and I don't know what Wei wants, just to push him off the turret, maybe. But at this point, there is going to be a trade bottom side, and eStar are going to have to act quick.
Yeah, and I want to see if V5 can actually get that bot lane turret down first. Because if so, they can try to turn mid and make a tempo play for mid turret. You do still have Sam D's ultimate up, so maybe you can look for a pick onto FunFun. But nope, actually, eStar are going to get that turret down, so gonna get a bit of tempo at least.
Yep, a bit more gold in their back pocket, but here we go, bot. Mechanical arrow used. That's not going to be too much effect. Death Grass dodged away from. Xiao Bai has the Death Realm, so MD does not want to go in it under the turret, but Mole's here.
Yeah, but that play was, it's kind of weird. We were highlighting their coordination a few minutes ago where it was a very weird idea, and then by the time the rest of the members came, Sam D and Weiwei having nothing left to offer anyway.
Now, Dragon, because of the lead, you can test as V5, or do you get caught out if you're PP God? Death Grass into the Death Realm. He's going to 1v1 the Mordekaiser, and eStars are grouping up as 5 to take him down. PP knows he's dead. He just wants to save Sam D, who flashes away from Shousey. PP survives so long, though. Ball pokes him down, flashes away. He's alive. And Call the Forge God is going to layer everyone down. Wink the target with Mole still in a great position with blue buff. Drop bubble doesn't land, but PP wants to re-engage with the center plate. Double flash comes through. Bubu gets the knock up as well. And everything coming up V5 again as the stars have gone down. Once more, it's a supernova of cataclysmic portions.
And Mole is hitting every full range paddle star. We see just health bars going from 100% to 50 out of nowhere. And good from PP to buy so much time. Obviously had the stopwatch as well. Mole coming with some good paddle stars. Sam D with a great flash, holding it to the very last second, making sure Shousey can't land the hook. And 6K gold lead now.
It turns out Wei is double the player that Wei is. This first game. He's showing up so much bigger, more control here to V5. They've just picked up another fight. They've got a 6K gold lead at 14 minutes in the game. There is a Magi's in Mole's back pocket. He has 7 kills.
Yeah, I feel like the Magi's is a very efficient buy this game. And
absolutely.
Like I pointed out this coming into draft, that compositions like this, I'm not a big fan of. We haven't seen them work too well here in the LPL where, like, we don't see the Galio ultimate being used aggressively, right? He's being used more as, like, zone control with his taunt, as well as the Mordekaiser with his Death Realm, but we said Mole doesn't have to go close to you to get any of this damage down, and he's been hitting all of it. So V5 profiting pretty much as you can with this composition.
So what do you do now? Because eStar are in a whole bucket of, you know, this is a really rough early game. One that it feels like you need the Galio ult to turn around a fight, but even then, relies on Wink outputting damage.
Like, for them to try to scrap at this point in the game, it's going to be them trying to commit more resources to one side, but typically that's going to be against Bubu. And let's say you're committing FunFun's ultimate to trying to find a pick on the Ornn as well as Wei's presence. You're going to lose out too much on the other side of the map.
Okay. So die straights I'll take. V5 already picked up topside turret. Sam D and PP on a mission. And this is some pretty clean play moving into 15 minutes.
I mean, let's also remember, though, there's always the win condition of the 3-item Aphelios.
Yep.
It's something we see every game. If Aphelios can hit 3 items, you do have a lot of AoE CC coming out from the side of eStar with the Nautilus as well as the Galio. So, you know, you can stun them for a long period of time.
Well, does land Trouble Bubble. Good just punch away as everyone walking on up the minion wave. Shredded a little bit, but V5 still pick up the mid lane turret. And with another Herald sitting there, this should be free, like everything in the past couple of minutes has been.
And breaking down this game isn't very very hard because it all comes down to one play.
Yeah.
At the first Rift Herald where, you know, V5 picked up a 5K gold advantage out of nowhere.
Out of a man disadvantage.
Yeah, out of Sam D being allowed to stay bot and just stay plates.
And even if they lost the Rift Herald, those plates would have made it up anyway. So you can see Sam D's maintained that CS lead. Wink kind of catching up at this point. The global gold for V5 is massive as well. And we're back to that 6K gold lead. Another Herald in the back pocket. And we're just going to track Mole because Mole's 7-0 and 2. He's got the 10 stacks on the Magi's. And he is popping as Wink gets half health.
Yeah, and V5 have a couple options of what they could look for. Actually, Sam D.
Way here to Shadow, and FunFun's committed with the Justice Punch. Chan across the arrow. This is a big punish. He's going to Hero's Entrance out of there. The escape successful, but he's going to run into PP God if he stays any longer.
Yeah, that was really unfortunate for the fact that Wei noticed Wei, but FunFun was already committing to the fight, so having to use that ultimate to get out, and this is going to be so tough for eStar to deal with. The fact that...
Okay, flash dredge lines. The damage following up. The shield of Durand. Oh, we got Sam D. Shut down.
Well, I was wrong, I guess. It was not hard for eStar to deal with. But keeping Sam D solo in a side lane, I think even going back to that first play, was extremely risky when you could just have him rotate over, you know, try to look for some kind of pick in mid lane with the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. And this is the play that I want to keep seeing and we expected to see. V5 just fighting for all the buffs and all the camps in the enemy jungle. This is what they're great for. This is why Wei has such a high EXP advantage over the enemy jungler, and you just have so much CC to lock someone down. If they contest you in your jungle, you're always going to be able to come out ahead and find a pick.
That's why it's such a good stat to see when you talked about EXP difference at 15. I mean, this game's going to hold true yet again. It's level 11 on Wei, and look all the way to the bottom. Where are we? Where's Wei? It's because it's the same name. Wei is level 9. 2 level difference. You talk about the CS is massive. Black Cleaver versus only the Warriors with the Kindle Gem. And Dragons coming up. Another objective that V5, especially with an Ornn, are going to love. And if eStar walk in, that's it. So good to see the pick, but we got to look for a lot more. Good spotting here as well. Sam D and PP God just clearing out some vision, and I have to say, an impressive game number 1 so far.
I told you, if you're a V5 fan, this is a good limbo to be in. Like, this is not a bad place to be. They're probably going to be able to secure this turret and take the dragon. eStar, not in a position to answer anything, still 5k gold behind. And we've already talked about V5's comp, and I mean, to me, this is as close to the Exodia comp of the LPL as you can get. You have a strong front line, so the members of eStar are not going to be able to take them down. You have a lot of damage that is fine close range with something like a Graves. You have a ton of burst. You have a ton of range coming out from the Zoe. You have DPS with your AD carry as well.
And when you have such high-risk players, like the LPL is built on high-risk, high-reward plays. Ashe, Zoe to capitalize on mistakes, which are, let's be honest, very common here in this region. Also with eStar, as to how they've been playing recently, it feels pretty good.
Yeah, and V5 in a great place, and we just saw Fun push out the wave topside. The only type of play they could hope for is when he does push out a wave, Sam D does answer. And we've seen him try to catch the pick on Sam D, but if he doesn't overextend, it's going to be tough. But he could try to commit 5v4 elsewhere while Sam D's catching that wave, but...
Woo! Hang on. Oh, man. It's 1 against another, huh?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I'm actually not quite sure that eStar would win 5v4s. And if Mole hits paddle stars like that, no way.
Wait. Oh, Xiaoxi blocked it. What a nice guy. But does he die because of it? Searing Charge available, and that's the life of a support, apparently, as only just gets out. Bubi was close. But there's a Baron, there's a Dragon in 4 minutes. Instead, let's be real, there's a top turret available.
And they have so much siege potential. Zoe obviously thrives in positions like this where she can take advantage of, 1, your lack of vision, and 2, the terrain to throw out those bubbles.
Narrowly dodged by Fun. Well, while the gaming kills has slowed for the time being, V5 definitely haven't looking for that pick. Going to be resetting here as well. Are we doing this again? No. Sam D was spotted out, but it's a little bit too late. He has QSS now, by the way, so that's going to help if Xiaoxi autos. Or if we get a Graviton.
And even look at V5's vision across the map.
Hang on, Solar Flare. Cleanse not available with the... perfect execution by V5's support and jungle. Now it's a 5 versus 4 for 30 minutes without the Aphelios.
Yeah, they're just going to be able to force this bear and try to force a fight. Doesn't matter if you rush it, because regardless, the members of eStar are going to have to come into you. Getting the bear in too low might be a bit risky if Xiaobai comes and can pull Wei into the Death Realm, but they actually do this quite fast.
Xiaoxi going to be the first to be spotted. Mole on zone control. You can see pings are going down for this Zoe, who's the biggest threat. Wei dodges away, or rather Wei does. It's called the Forge God to line him up. Fun zoning out Mole, but on the back line, V5 are turning for the fight. Xiaoxi's not tanky enough. Golden in the nick of time while Wei gets the secure on the support. But it's a 1-for-1 trade while Wei's in such a bad position. Mole adds more stacks, and V5 might be off the Baron, but they get more blood.
Still, that's what they were looking for, right? They didn't go into that play with the thought of, hey, we're going to secure the Baron. It's, hey, let's force them into fighting us. And going back to that fight, one thing I love is we see Mole Zoe playing through terrain. He wasn't grouped up with the other members like we might see other players do. He knows, hey, I'm going to get the max range out of these Sleepy Trouble Bubbles. I'm going to try and get max range Paddle Stars off. And he was being such a nuisance on the side, drawing Wei and Fun's attention. Yep. We see Xiaoxi trying to go in, isn't very inherently tanky. Sam D's left to just deal all this damage for free, and now Wei's left in a terrible position, and once again, Mole hitting a very nice Paddle Star.
Very nice indeed. 14 stacks. Keep counting. He's got Morello's now as well, so technically those 3 items. Over Fun, who's only got the Sonya's Hourglass as his second. Looking like a pretty good game to be a mid laner, or at least a fan of a mid laner. On V5's side. 195 CS as well. And it's back to that Baron dance, right? Sam D pushing top and Vision being cleared.
Exactly, and the thing that's so hard for V5, for eStar, is I was already starting to mention V5's vision control, they're able to push all the lanes, so it's obviously very easy for them to get this vision set up. Because when you're this far behind as eStar, you need some kind of crazy shenanigan play, whether it's a pick in a brush or something along those lines. But anywhere you go, V5 are going to know where you are.
So much good control of vision. You see the wards everywhere. Sam D and PP God, meanwhile, though, we look top. This turret's been under pressure for so long.
And this game out of Mole is so good to see because I think his game 2 against FPX, where he was on Zoe, was actually pretty poor. He played mechanically bad. He wasn't utilizing terrain in the same ways. He was flashing, going for those max range paddle stars and missing. So this was a performance that we needed to see.
It was disappointing because V5's game 1 was so clean against FPX, and then the rest of the series fell apart, Mole included, as you said. As this time, the Baron just completely blind. Taken as expected. V5 are sweeping eStars under the rug in this first game.
Yeah.
Are we even surprised anymore? I mean, at this point, coming into the series, a lot of people thought V5 were the favorites.
I mean, I think V5 were the favorites, right? We look at eStar, and they're sitting 2-5.
Yeah.
So they've not had a good time, and it's not like they've only played top teams. Heck, they lost to BLG, right? They lost to BLG before BLG brought Meteor back.
Their last series was Vici, and Vici are like the most mediocre team at some points in the league.
Oh,
okay,
God.
the middle of the pack. We're going to find a pick. PP God, is he really caught out? That's a great kick with the death realm put onto Weiwei, but Xiaobai, I'm not sure, unless he can find the smackdown with his Livinor. Good dodge by Weiwei. Xiaobai comes on out, gets the jungler. The hero's engine's used nicely, but Vivu trades on off as Mole, gets another paddle star. Depth charge onto the tank on. And in a 4 versus 4, I don't know. Mole's still scary. Xiaoxi at half health. And Finfin's in the middle of this one. Shielded to Ran. A good lock up here, but Sam D starting to do some dirty work as well. As you need an Aphelios play to bring this one back with Infernum. He's doing one, but Mole is like, no more 200 years. Sit down. Zoe's got about 199 herself. That was nice as well.
And that fight just started with PB got face checking into the brush, which we set up how they had full map control. They even have the Ashe. You talked about the Hawk shot earlier on. So strange to see them in a position where they need a face check. Gets pretty low early to where it's essentially a 4v5, but we've talked about how fed Mole is, and you said he's not going to let this Aphelios pop off. They pick up those final 2 kills. We're 17-6 in a 25-minute game.
He got max Magi stacks as well.
Yeah, so here we see PB God just walk into Fun's taunt. Gets extremely low early on. Xiaobai doing a great job of zoning all the members off. Sam D not in a position where he can deal any damage. Can just walk in alone as an AD carry. Now Xiaobai's in a position where the rest of the members could take him down, though.
Could you imagine if eStar were on even footing with gold in that fight? That's probably the fight that they win, right?
Yeah. This would be where they'd be positioned in a good way for Aphelios to take over.
Yep. You see at the end of this fight, I mean, we're about to watch Wink do exactly that on the Sam D.
Yeah, this Aphelios is doing a ton of damage, but Mole luckily picking up that flash, flashing forward, and then also able to secure.
Tentacle Slayer from downtown with Ignite. Mole just flashes in yet again. Chelsea gets the pullback though with Gravitum available, but never mind that because it's Sonya's Hourglass, and PP God wants to take down Wink. Doesn't so successfully call the Forge God, getting the knock up onto Xiaoxi, and this is the last stand. eStar are getting aggressed on into their base. PP God is in the Death Realm, but for how long? Until everyone's on top of this Mordekaiser. Xiaobai gets the biggest surprise of his life as eStar have 19 kills against them and are running against the Game 1 V5 wins.
And with no Aphelios, eStar have no way of actually clearing out the wave, so V5 can go for the end.
Wei gets a good kick. The hero's entrance going to land on top of V5, but their attention is elsewhere as Wei takes down his counterpart. Better Wei wins. V5, the only way is forward into this Nexus for a Game 1 win. A beautiful start to the series in 27 minutes.
Yeah, and V5 going to pick this one up. Wink not having anything he can actually do at this point. And Mole especially, involved in 21 out of 23 kills.
That's some good kill participation. A no-brainer MVP as V5 came together. And it's good to see after the loss against FPX that there's still a team with such great potential.
And you know, the amazing thing is, we came into this saying, hey, you know, V5 don't actually really play around Mole. They don't put a lot of resources into mid lane. Sometimes they'll look for picks with Wei and PP God, but it's not necessarily about Mole. They're just more of like a roaming squad regardless of where they go on the map. And this came from Mole just showing us beautiful Zoe mechanics and abusing eStar's mistakes and putting the game on his back.
The whole game. I mean, the Rift Herald fight where he got 5 kills was, I guess, an elongated penta. I think he picked up 1 in the first play anyway, but For V5, that snowball ran out of control. And once again, jungle difference. Like, way over way. Not to meme, but apparently the more ways, the better.
I mean, I feel like we're being a bit harsh in the sense that, right, the game opened up after that one play. Wei didn't get much of a chance. We saw him early on impacting bot lane quite well, so I actually feel like Wei did the best he could. And then it's about, hey, V5 haven't even rotated their AD carry up towards his Herald.
They still lost
like,
them.
you can understand why eStar are looking for this fight,
Yeah.
just not coordinating it efficiently to where each member got chunked low by the time the next member arrived.
And it's kind of sad. This is what we saw in the Vici series. This is what we've seen in the other series. I'm looking back, like even against FPX, RNG, where eStar do not look as coordinated as they did in spring. It doesn't seem like that same shot calling that they had with Cryan is coming through with FunFun.
Let's also mention how hard it could be to maintain that when you are 2-5 in the league right now.
Very true.
I think mental state and, especially when you are on a losing streak like they are, is important to factor in because it's a lot harder to execute in game. You feel a lot more pressure in these kind of moments and, it's just kind of unfortunate to see them fall once again.
Agreed. I mean, that's a very fair point considering that eStar right now are facing the potential of another 0-2 or the way that first game looked. V5 looked like the stronger team. But we have seen this from V5 against FPX where game 2 and 3 was a very different beast. So
we saw it against LGD as well, right?
Yeah, we did. Consistency is key. Both these teams, funnily enough, have lost to LGD 1 and 2. So a good way to put them right in the middle. For V5, you talked about draft a lot and how it was to be executed. Well, we didn't need to see bot. We just saw Wei and Mole individually dominate. And the gank from Bubu at the start really got him rolling.
And it's so nice to be able to highlight Bubu because he's really looked phenomenal this split. He's been using his pressure so well. You're constantly seeing him hover for mid or, off of base timing, just walk straight towards bot and look for the objective play. He knows how to play winning matchups, which is why Renekton's his most played champion. So whatever aspect of his play you want to highlight, Bubu's looked good.
I mean, so much better than he did on Suning. That's so easy to say.
His knockups on Ornn have been amazing. Not only this game, there's one in the RNG game that's so beautiful where he flashes to get a different angle and ends up knocking up 4 men. So Bubu really being a highlight player. And sure, early on, the bot lane didn't come together the way we expected. I don't think it's all their fault. It looked like a disconnect in them coordinating with Wei. But at the same time, by the time they did come online with that level 6 mark, they were both using their CC pretty much off cooldown trying to find picks.
And then we talked about the comp from eStar and how the Galio came into it and your dislike of these Galio compositions. At the very least, we saw FunFun with a couple of ultis reserved for when eStars were already pulling away, rather than when someone like Xiaoxi found an engage where Wei got a good kick. It was always eStar trying to run away rather than set themselves up.
Exactly, and I just don't feel like we've seen them work here in the LPL. Not sure if they're working anywhere else globally. Definitely not working here, and it's just very strange to see. The thing I also don't like about it is when you take it very early in draft. We didn't see V5 opt into it today, but if you do take the Galio and you don't pair him with a lot of hard set engage, you can just draft to outrange it, play a more pseudo-esque poke comp, and sure, V5 didn't have a poke comp, but it looked like they did with how well Mole was playing.
I mean, Mole got those 4 kills around Rift Herald, the 1 from previously, hit 5, hit him a Jais early, and then no one could deal with him. FunFun didn't have enough MR in
Remember
the kit.
his paddle star mid lane to Wink where he was left with 5 HP?
True. I mean, all game long, Mole had a really good start to the series. V5 on match point here after what was a clean game 1. In 27-minute fashion, we'll see if they can do it again, or if eStar have something to say right after this break.